hot and humid 89-degree day here in Miami. Ravens and the Dolphins ready to go. John Harbaugh in his 6th season as head coach of Baltimore. And on the other sideline, Miami head coach Joe Philbin in his 2nd year with the Dolphins. Baltimore has won the toss. They have deferred. Miami will receive with the 2nd-year player out of Indiana, Marcus Thigpen, who has great speed. He averages better than 26 yards per kickoff return. And he awaits the kick from Justin Tucker, 2nd-year man from Texas. Miami has played 3 of its first 4 on the road. They won at Cleveland, won at Indianapolis, won their home opener against Atlanta, but this past Monday night, they were crushed in New Orleans, 38-17. Good kick by Tucker, and they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. So here comes Ryan Tannehill, the 2nd-year man from Texas A&M.
Yeah, last season, Marv thrown right into the fire as a rookie. I thought for the most part he handled himself well. Really the key for him today, he's going to have to step up in the pocket with Suggs and Dumerville coming off the edge. He can't allow those two to take over the game.
Mike Wallace is wide to the right. The running back is Lamar Miller. And we get an official timeout. The referee is Carl.
That change to get fixed.
Apparently they had a problem with the yardsticks. They haven't heard the announcement. Richie said the chains have been fixed. That's one we haven't heard. Tannehill out of the gun. Now Miller stands to his right. And Tannehill able to complete the short of the first down as he connects with Wallace for 9. Miami offensively with an outstanding center in Mike Ponce, but an offensive line, as we mentioned earlier, that has allowed 18 sacks, most in the NFL, and Dolphin fans are waiting for Mike Wallace to have a breakout game. The former Steeler has not been a factor to this point. It's a 2nd down and 1. We're just underway here in Miami. Miller looking for the marker. Very close as Arthur Jones, the defensive tackle, is able to make the stop.
It's going to be 3rd down.
Yeah, he is short. Lamar Miller averaging about 4.5 per carry.
Well, I'm curious to see what they do here. Remember last week in New Orleans, they had that short yardage situation in the first half. They ran the ball outside the outside zone play, and they got stuffed. They pulled the guard, and the center, Mike Pouncey, criticized all week for that call. Got to be able to run the ball up inside with some power.
And how about an early timeout being called by the Dolphins? He's played 1 minute and 13. And they will talk it over. Let's take a look at the Ravens defensively. Despite the transitions that you're all aware of, Baltimore still solid up front. The centerpiece, Aloti Nata. Another perennial Pro Bowler, Terrell Suggs, leads the team with 4 sacks. And in the secondary, Ladarius Webb will play through an injured thigh. He was a question mark coming into today.
Yeah, it's good to get him back in the secondary now. That allows Corey Graham to go back to playing the nickel.
Miami has a 3rd and 1. Double tight ends for the Dolphins. Miller is the running back. Tannehill making a change. There's Miller. Not able to pick up the first down. Lamar Miller tried to provide a difficult angle for Nata, but Nata able to make the tackle.
We just talked about this short yardage situation. They bounce this ball outside. That's what Lamar Miller wants to do. First of all, why is Daniel Thomas not in there carrying the football? Why don't they just sneak it in that situation? Penetration absolutely devastating in short yardage and goal line situations. It's been a problem now for the Dolphins 2 straight weeks.
That's Tandon Doss awaiting the punt from Brandon Fields, who leads the NFL. He averages nearly 50 yards a punt led the league last year. And Doss has to chase to the far side. Doss lost his balance, able to regain. And makes his way across the 25. A 60-yard punt for Fields. 15-yard return. Austin Spittler making the stop. And here comes Joe Flacco.
Yeah, he was a little careless with the ball last week, Marv. We talked about that, a career-high 5 interceptions. He took some unnecessary risks, but I like what he had to say when we visited with him last night. You know, he's not going to dismiss them, but he's not overly concerned about them either. You know, he says, I don't throw a lot of them, so just check my track record. Joe is going to continue to shoot the ball down the field and be aggressive.
Ray Rice, Ronte Leach in the backfield, offset I formation. And the handoff to Rice, able to find a hole briefly. Stopped by the former Raven, Donnell Ellaby. A look at the Ravens offense. Bryant McKinney remains at left tackle. Eugene Monroe, just acquired from Jacksonville, expected to play next week. And we'll have more on that as the broadcast continues. And of note, Tanda Doss starting for the rookie Marlon Brown, who was a game-time scratch out with a hamstring problem. A big loss. He's been playing well. Flacco's pass nearly picked off by Brent Grimes. Well, Miami defensively, 26th overall. They welcome back defensive end Cameron Wait from a sprained knee. The linebackers feature former Raven Donnell Ellaby, who was Miami's leading tackler. You just saw him go to work. And in the secondary, Nolan Carroll starts again for the injured Dimitri Patterson. 3rd down and 5. This crowd urging the defense on. Flacco under pressure, gets it away, has a 1st down and more with Torrey Smith, puts the speed on and is pushed out of bounds. So the short pass to Smith, leading to a gain of 41, and then was batted out of bounds by Chris Clemens, the free safety.
Well, that pocket was soft. A nice grab, though, by Torrey Smith. And this is what he gives you, Marv, the ability to transition into the run. He's got great speed, top-end speed. You know, you got to find a way to get this guy on the ground. He can break open a game when he gets into the secondary.
Joe Flacco last week throwing a career-high 5 interceptions, sacked 4 times, and as you mentioned, threw 50 passes, but tried to connect with Ray Rice only once as Rice gets the call. But 50 passes in a game, and at one stretch he dropped back to throw 31 consecutive times. Rich, what's the most you have thrown in a single game?
Well, 63, and it's never good when you throw it north of 50, Marv. We lost that game. Didn't throw an interception, but it went into overtime. It's just too much. They've got an offensive imbalance right now. They've got to get the running game cranked up, and they've got to do a better job protecting Joe Flacco when he does drop back to throw.
2nd down and 7 inside the 25. The inside handoff to Rice to try to get him going. Cannot. Once again, it's the former Raven, Donnell Ellaby.
Well, they've got to get the offensive line playing better. We talked about the pass protection, but the run blocking's got to be better. You cannot allow a linebacker like Donnell Ellaby just to run right through there and get a free shot on Ray Rice. Got to do a better job getting up on the 2nd level and getting some hats on those linebackers.
3rd and 7. 4.5 gone by in the first. Flacco with a deep drop. Flacco gets it off and it is incomplete. Good coverage on Kyle Juszczyk, the rookie from Harvard, the intended receiver out on the flat. And Jimmy Wilson, the nickelback, was right there.
Well, they've got to do a better job. You know, you look at McKinney, he's struggling. Flacco's got to step up. They've got to do a better job protecting him. Too often the pocket has been collapsing around him. They need to keep the pocket cleaner around Flacco.
This will be a 43-yard attempt for Justin Tucker. 7 of 9 on the season. He's missed from 50 and 44, both in game 2 against the Browns. And Tucker's kick is right through. 3-0 lead for the Ravens. 3-0 lead for the Ravens. John Harbaugh telling us last night a major concern has been getting off to slow starts every game. He said at a team meeting on Friday, he called for quiet, made this announcement. He said, guys, I don't know about you, but I vote for trying to get the lead.
Yeah, it's amazing. They've scored just 7 points, Marv, in the first quarter all season. Gotten off the slow starts, and it's difficult to go on the road and play from behind.
Once again, a strong kickoff for Tucker. They'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. Miami back to the offense. Ravens with a 3-0 lead.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL.
Beautiful shot of the Atlantic. Mentioned earlier, 89 degrees here in South Florida. Miami starting out at their 20-yard line. Tannehill hesitated for a moment, then the pass picked off. Tannehill's pass floated to the sideline, and James Ihedebo, the strong safety, with the leaping pick.
Well, he never feels the free safety. He's got his eyes on the corner, and the receiver never feels Ihedebo come in. And that's just an inexperienced mistake by Ryan Tannehill. I think he's got that right foot in, but that left hand comes down first.
All turnovers are automatically reviewed, and Rick's taking a long look at this one.
Yeah, you just watched his left hand right there. That's out of bounds. He gets the left foot, not the right foot, before the left hand comes down.
Pass intended for the tight end Charles Clay, who has played very well.
After review, the ruling on the field is reversed. His hand came down prior to his knee touching inbound. His hand touched out of bounds, therefore it's an incomplete pass. 2nd and 10 for Miami at the 20-yard line.
Well, it was a spectacular effort by Ihedebo.
Really athletic play. Just it's tough to get the other foot in bounds. Get all your momentum going towards the boundary. You can see clearly there that left hand comes down out of bounds. Really a careless throw by Ryan Tannehill, trying to force that one into his tight end Charles Clay.
Tannehill intercepted 3 times by the Saints the other night. First lackluster game of the year, 22 for 35. He lost his 3rd fumble of the season. He was actually hit 10 times, including 4 sacks. Talked about the problems at the offensive line. 2nd down and 10. A flag comes flying as Lamar Miller got the call. Stopped at the line. You may notice the pink flag that was thrown, acknowledging the NFL.
Illegal shift, offense. 2 players in motion prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
And the pink wristbands being worn here by the officials, also recognizing Breast Cancer Month on the part of the National Football League.
You got your pink socks on. I do. Nice job.
That's been a regular feature, though.
I know it.
Yeah. 3rd down and 10. Ravens 3, the Dolphins nothing. 5 minutes gone by. Tannehill in trouble. Down he goes. It is sack number 19 against Miami. Courtney Upshaw, who rotates with Elvis Dumervil, coming up with his first sack of the season.
Well, you spent so much time worrying about Suggs and Dumervil on the outside that they turned Courtney Upshaw loose on the inside, and that's the benefit of having 2 very good edge rushers. It allows them to do more things with their inside rush, whether it's Nada or McPhee or a guy like Courtney Upshaw.
Loss of 9. Brandon Fields will punt it out of his end zone. Tandon Doss is back around the 40-yard line. And another beauty by Fields. Doss has to backpedal. Doss goes sideline. And makes the cut, and he's taken down at the 35. 62-yarder as a follow-up to the 60-yard punt. R.J. Stanford makes the tackle on Dodds.
Let's take a look at the three big questions for the Ravens. You know, people often talk about how hard it is to repeat. They often forget about just how hard it is to make a first down in this business. And this is a team that needs to forge its own destiny. The Ravens have to find a way to get the ball in the hands of Ray Rice. Just 5 carries, no receptions. That's a recipe for disaster. And finally, you know, if you look under the hood, the Ravens have played better defensively since week 1. Now they've got to clean some things up and get back to playing dominant defense.
They start out at the 35. A hole opens up for Rice. Ray Rice missed week 3 with an injured hip. And it's obvious that he is still dealing with it. Don't miss a new episode of the hit drama Person of Interest. New night and time Tuesday at 10, 9 Central only. CBS. And talking to some of the Ravens coaches, they mentioned there's been, looking back at last week's game, there was absolutely no acceleration on the part of Rice or Bernard Pierce.
No, you know, not a lot of production either. And I think it's never one thing, Marv. They got to run. They got to do a better job up front. The back's got to hit the holes.
Well, Rice tried to hit the hole. There was no hole, and he has stopped, picked up the 2. We're set for an update. Here's JB and Dennis.
The ball rolling Kansas City's way.
The Titans coming into this game, they had not turned the football over. Damian Williams is blocking. The ball caroms off his foot into the end zone. Marcus Cooper of the Chiefs pounces on it. Early 7-0 Chiefs over the Titans.
The inimitable Marv Albert and Rich Gannon.
JB being very kind. I tell you, the cash payoffs really
It's really working out for him.
4th down and 2. And Flacco calling for time. Ravens use their first time out with just under 8 left here in the first in Miami.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. And by the new 2014 Dodge Durango.
A moment ago, that was not a timeout that Joe Flacco wanted to call. This is Pierce able to make the turn. And let's see where they spot it. He's right at the marker. The Dolphins, of course, pointing the other way. And he is short. Bernard Pierce, 3rd-round pick last year out of Temple. He's been bothered by a hamstring injury. And it is a 4th and a yard. So the punting unit will come on. And the speedy Marcus Thigpen will drop back for this punt from Sam Cook. Cook, one of the best punters in the NFL. We have 2 of the best with a combination of Brandon Fields and Sam Cook. Cook is averaging just under 49 yards a punt, which is 3rd in the NFL. And this one is not one of his better punts, obviously. Off the side of his foot. So a break for Miami, just a 25-yard punt by Cook. 3-0 Baltimore over Miami.
You are watching the NFL on CBS.
Well, it's about much more than pink on the field. Together, the NFL and the American Cancer Society helping women across the country make a crucial catch. To hear the personal impact stories, find out how you can help finish the fight against breast cancer at NFL.com/pink. Loose ball. Miami's seen quite a bit of that. Ryan Tannehill able to pounce on it. One of the many problems that the Dolphins have had despite the record of 3-1.
Yeah, you know, Ryan Tannehill's got to catch that one, but it did come back a little hot and high from Mike Wallace, and boy, that one had some mustard on it. And you know, this is a team right now that, you know, not good enough to be able to overcome these types of mistakes early in games.
It is a loss of 18. Daniel Thomas checking in as the running back, 3-year man from Kansas State. Tannehill He likes to throw to his right. Able to complete. Wallace able to make the catch. Picked up 12. Set for an update. JB and Shannon.
Need I say more than Russell Wilson?
He just wins, JB. 10-yard pass to Golden Tate. Into the end zone, 10-0 early Seahawks over the Colts.
Marv and Rich.
All right, guys, third down and 16 for the Dolphins. From the gun, goes on the run. Thomas, tough to bring down, but well short of a first down as he gains 8. Arthur Brown, backup linebacker, making the stop.
Well, they try and run the screen pass, and again, these are the situations you don't want to find yourself in if you're Ryan Tannehill and the Dolphins. 3rd and long against one of the best pass rushing teams in football.
So the punt unit returns. Brandon Fields in his 7th year out of Michigan State with Tandon Doss back, and another tremendous punt. This one carries out of bounds. So no return for Doss. 53-yard punt by Fields. Marv Albert, Rich Gannon from Sun Life Stadium in Miami. 3-0 lead for the Ravens. 5:15 remaining in this first quarter. Baltimore takes over 1st and 10 at their 15. The Ravens at 2-2, blown out in that opener at Denver. Then won 2 straight at home against Cleveland and Houston, and that convincing win over the Texans, and lost in Buffalo last week. Bernard Price remains in the backfield. Flacco being chased, gets it away, it is incomplete. Intended for the fullback, Monte Leach.
Well, you mentioned last week, Marv, it was kind of ugly for the Ravens in Buffalo. Of course, Joe Flacco sets the franchise record. They couldn't get Ray Rice going. Just 5 rushing attempts in that game, no receptions. And of course, when you're not good on the early downs, you really struggle on 3rd down. Of course, very inconsistent in the red zone. That guy right there, 27, needs to be more involved moving forward.
And so rare for Ray Rice to go an entire game without a reception. This time Pierce went to the edge, could not make the turn.
You look at Ray Rice, and you know that it's been a tough season for him. Look at these declining numbers. You go back to 2011, and now look where he's at 2013. No, he has been nicked. There's no question about that. That hip flexor has bothered him, but boy, they've got to get this guy more involved in the game plan each week.
Joe Flacco missing more weapons again today. The rookie Marlon Brown, Jacoby Jones, who may return next week. Out with that knee injury, a diving catch is made by Doss.
It's amazing how the protection collapses around Joe Flacco, but he's so tall and he's so big and strong in the pocket. Look, he just steps right up inside. He keeps his eyes and focus downfield, and he makes a nice throw here to Tandon Doss. Low and away from the corner.
Picked up 11 and a first down. Ray Rice back on the field. Ray last year 1,600 yards from scrimmage, which included 61 receptions. Flacco looking at a first down at the 25-yard line. Here's Rice. That's a fumble by Rice, recovered by the Dolphins. And the one-time Raven, Donnell Ellerbe, who's off to an excellent start here in the first quarter, makes the recovery.
Well, Philip Wheeler is going to get the ball out, and of course, Donnell Ellerbe comes in. You talk about 2 free agent acquisitions in the offseason. Actually, that's 96. That's Paul Soliai who gets the ball out. Ellerbe right there for the scoop. Ray Rice got to do a better job putting 2 hands on that ball. Turnovers, again, a story in this one for the Ravens.
Miami taking over at the Baltimore 29-yard line. They stay with Daniel Thomas in the backfield. Tannehill with protection, fires and overthrows, but a flag comes flying. The pass intended for Mike Wallace. Jimmy Smith, the right corner, on the coverage. So Tannehill
Prior
looking
to, the pass,
to go deep
holding,
to Wallace.
Number 22, defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
And is on Jimmy Smith, but a good sign for the Dolphins with Tannehill gunning for Wallace long range.
Yeah, you're going to see Wallace. He's just going to work up to the corner. I mean, they have such great speed at that position. And, of course, Jimmy Smith's got his hands full trying to catch up to Wallace in the back of the end zone.
Now Marcus Thigpen checks in. He had that 50-yard reception last week, showing his speed. And here it is, the pass to Thigpen. Gets inside the 20-yard line, stopped by the middle linebacker Darrell Smith, and that's a 5-yard pickup. Thigpen is the punt and kick returner, second-year player out of Indiana, has not run the ball from scrimmage to this point. Caught that one pass last week for 50, only the second reception of his NFL career. Now Daniel Thomas returns to the backfield, takes the handoff, looks to get outside. Picked up Marv. Chris Canty able to get the reps.
We've been talking about Marv, Baltimore's inability to run the football. The Dolphins have to be able to run it as well. I mean, they've been talking all week about trying to run the ball more effectively and having some balance in order to be successful. I mean, they can't expect Tannehill to throw it north of 40 each week against a team in a pass rush like the Ravens. That game got away from them last week in the second half. They fell behind. They turned the football over. They're not built that way to be able to come back.
Saw that the graphic. They have been solid in the red zone. Oh, the pass is dropped. Mike Wallace, who had a couple of drops last week and has struggled. Hearing it from this crowd, he was wide open. That would have been 6.
Yeah, you look at Tannehill, looks like he rushes this. Look how wide open Mike Wallace is. Either he's got to set down, he's got to find a way to catch the ball. No question about it. He had a couple drops in practice on Friday. They're not on the same page. It looks like Tannehill's trying to throttle him down in the hole, and Wallace is continuing to run the crossing route.
So the field goal unit on the field now. 37-yard attempt for Caleb Sturgis. And he continues his perfection. 8 of 8, including a 54-yarder and a 50-yarder, and 10 of 10 in terms of points after. So the game is tied at 3. Well, Saturday, the Home Depot SEC on CBS brings on a smash hit. Tyler Murphy and the Florida Gators go up against LSU, and Zach Mettenberger for the Bayou Bengals. It all begins with college football today. Both Arkansas and Mississippi State winning last night, and Tyler Murphy threw for 3 touchdowns. The Home Depot SEC on CBS next Saturday. Ravens and Dolphins tied at 3. Interesting conversation we had with Miami head coach Joe Philbin, talking about the Dolphins' running game. He feels that his backs, he used the word, are hypersensitive to fumbling, so they're not using the stiff arm to free themselves and pick up the additional yardage. Obviously, when you go to the stiff arm, you hold the ball with one hand, which can lead to fumbles.
Yeah, well, they've been beating it into their heads, and they haven't put it on the ground. Well, that's a positive, but they're not breaking as many tackles, and I think they're running a little bit conservative right now, both of them.
Deontay Thompson is back deep for the kick, and he will run it out. Thompson showing his speed. Thompson able to get to the 40, and then is pushed out of bounds by R.J. Stanford. Beautiful return. Deontay Thompson made it back last week following a concussion. He was cleared to play once again today.
Yeah, and he does a nice job being patient, following those blockers. And, of course, once he gets outside, he's got great speed as well. He's going to get a good opportunity today. Really banged up, the Ravens are, at wide receiver. Jacoby Jones still out, although he did practice this week. He's got a good chance, I think, of playing next week. Marlon Brown, Marv, as you mentioned, out with the hamstring. And, of course, Brandon Stokely released yesterday. Dawson Thompson are going to have to play well in this one.
It's a 47-yard return by Thompson. The expectation is that Stokely will make his return. Ray Rice gets the call, and picks up 4. Aerial coverage of today's game being provided by MetLife. Ravens and Dolphins tied at 3. And we talked earlier about Bryant McKinney, who actually may be playing for his NFL future elsewhere.
I think he'll play well, Marv. He knows that the reason why they went out and made the trade for Eugene Monroe with Jacksonville earlier in the week.
Screen pass to Rice, which has to be a good sign for the Ravens on that connection, although it's a short pickup. Koa Misi makes the tackles. Another surprising NFL trade this week involving the Ravens. Surprising because it's been rare for NFL teams to make trades once the season is underway, and we have seen several. And as you mentioned, left tackle Eugene Monroe acquired from Jacksonville. He will eventually replace McKinney, who is out there today. McKinney is 34 years old, made the Pro Bowl back in 2009. Questions about being overweight. Monroe is just 26 years old, reported late in the week, so was not ready to play as Flacco goes incomplete. Intended for Deontay Thompson.
I think that switch is going to be sooner rather than later, Marv, as it relates to the left tackle. Of course, McKinney has struggled. You mentioned all the issues that he's had. He just has not played well. Neither tackle has really played well this year, but particularly McKinney. You know, look at Eugene Monroe. He's a guy that's a better athlete. He's got better feet. He's younger. And this is going to be a really good opportunity for him going from Jacksonville to Baltimore.
He's got a good punt. Like Cook and Thigpen lets it carry out of bounds. You know, strictly for roster space, the Ravens cut wide receiver Brandon Stokely. That was yesterday, and then they re-signed the backup tight end Billy Bodgerman, who had been cut Thursday to make room for Eugene Monroe. A lot of shuffling on the part of the Ravens. Stokely has been dealing with a thigh injury past couple of weeks, and it is expected that he will be re-signed.
Yeah, you look at where the Dolphins are at right now, Marv. They've got to get something going on this drive. You look at them right now, they've got 5 rushes for 0 yards. They've not been able to have any success on the ground, and again, they cannot turn into a one-dimensional team. Can't expect Tannehill to throw it a bunch in this one.
Lamar Miller takes the handoff, and not much there. As those running problems continue, penalty marker is down.
Baltimore's really played a lot better defensively since their week 1 loss at Denver.
There's no foul for unnecessary roughness on the play. Second down.
They gave up those 7 touchdowns in week 1. It didn't allow a touchdown in weeks 2 and 3, and I think they are playing to run better. A little bit of a hiccup last week with C.J. Spiller and Fred Jackson in Buffalo, but this is a good defense. And talking to Dean Pease last night, John Harbaugh, they'll be surprised and really disappointed if the Dolphins are able to run the ball against this front 7.
Overall, Baltimore at 15th in the league, about the middle of the pack. It is the middle of the pack. Time running down here in this first quarter. His pass overthrown, intended for Brian Hartline, who has not been a target in this first quarter. So that's the end of the first here in Miami. It's the Ravens 3, the Dolphins 3. On to the second quarter here in Miami. And you look at the Dolphins roster, Rich. Miami, a big player in free agency, spent over $98 million in guaranteed free agency for 13 free agents. This is Wallace. Just shy of a first down, picked up 9 on the play. Check of the standings here in the early going. Cleveland with that victory over Buffalo Thursday night. Cincinnati home for New England. They're scoreless early second quarter, and for the Steelers it is a bye week. Tandon Doss is back deep. One of the many areas where Jacoby Jones has missed. Doss lets it fly. So the Ravens will take over following that 53-yard punt. As for the AFC East, Patriots, doesn't seem to matter what is going on their roster. They are 4-0. Miami 3-1. The Jets at 2-2. They play tomorrow night against Atlanta. And the Bills dropping to 2 up, 3 down with injury problems.
Two rookie quarterbacks there and with the Jets and the Bills. And of course, I really believe that the Dolphins have narrowed the gap a little bit on the Patriots in terms of their talent and their performance through the first month of the season. Boy, Brady is special. Take all the players away from him and he still finds a way to get it done.
Hand off to Rice. Once again, he's bottled up just a yard for Ray Rice. In his 6th year out of Rutgers, certainly one of the premier all-purpose backs in the league, and has to be going through very frustrating times playing through that injured hip.
I always think it's important to get off to a good start. You know, Ray Rice needs his touches. We've talked about that, but he needs some production. And he just hasn't been able to get anything going here against this Miami defense.
2nd down and 9. Play action. Flacco flips it out. It is caught. The tight end, Ed Dixon. 4-year man from Oregon who had a tough game week 1. He dropped 4 passes, has not been able to get going. That's a big play for Ed Dixon.
Yeah, and remember what the Ravens coaching staff said. In play action, the linebackers don't get enough depth. It really felt like they could get those tight ends, Ed Dixon, in behind him. That's just what happened there.
It is a gain of 43 yards and a 1st down at the Miami 29. Again, Rice is stopped.
Well, you look at this Miami defense. I mean, they've been very good against the run. They don't give them a lot of big runs, and really starts with their front 4. I mean, they do a good job controlling the line of scrimmage. You look at Paul Soliai inside there, and Odrick, and of course, Wake and Vernon on the outside. Tough group to run against.
2nd down and 10. Deep drop for Flacco. And fires end zone. And the flag is thrown. A battle between Torrey Smith and the defender, Rashad Jones, the strong safety. And the pass interference on
number
Smith.
82 offense. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Offensive interference, the call on Torrey Smith.
Well, you just know 2 or 3 times a quarter the Ravens are going to take a shot to Torrey Smith. You see there, he's just trying to get his arm over. A little bit of pushing there, but I don't know. Well,
Torrey Smith has emerged as the leading receiver for the Ravens. 21 catches, 235 yards and a touchdown.
good thing that Rashad Jones did there, Marv, was he crossed lanes. He got in front of Torrey Smith. He just cut him off at the pass. Torrey had nowhere to go. He just tried to make a play on that ball.
Sets it back to a 2nd down and 20. Here they come. Flacco on a screen. Finds Rice. Rice in the open field. Stopped by Jelani Jenkins, the middle linebacker, but Ray Rice on that screen pass goes for 8.
Yeah, this is really where he can be dangerous in the screen game. He's so small, he just slips out, and then of course he's a tough tackle in the open field. He runs with great balance and vision, and he knows how to finish.
Bernard Pierce checking back in for Baltimore. 3rd down and 12. Game tied at 3. 3 minutes in. 2nd quarter. Flacco stepping up. Flacco over the head of Camden Doss. Doss was open.
Again, they've been trying to run these crossing routes. Decent protection. Flacco has to step up and get this one over the corner, Carroll, and in between the safety, Rashad Jones.
So here is Justin Tucker, who hit earlier from 42. Looking to connect from 50. As a rookie last year, hit 30 of 33, including 4 field goals. of 50 yards or more. Justin Tucker showing that powerful leg. So he is in on both his attempts. Ravens with a 6-3 lead on the Dolphins. Justin Tucker getting set to kick off to Marcus Thigpen following the 50-yard field goal. Tucker now 9 of 11 on the season. 2 misses taking place in game 2 against Cleveland. 1 from 50, 1 from 44. This one to the back of the end zone is beyond, so they'll bring it out to the 20.
Let's take a look at the 3 big questions, Mark, for the Dolphins. They have to be concerned about protection. 18 sacks already this season. They've got 1 in this game. They've got to get that cleaned up. And the Dolphins are the only team in the NFL right now with a winning record despite being a minus in the turnover battle. That's got to get cleaned up. And for the Dolphins really to get where they want to go, Ryan Tannehill has to elevate his game. 4 career interceptions right now, than touchdowns. That won't get it done.
Lamar Miller in the backfield. Tannehill works out of the shotgun, the handoff. And Miller stopped by Arthur Jones. Miller picks up 4 on the play. Ryan Tannehill telling us the other day that he feels, I don't know if you agree with us, he feels that he's playing faster now this season. He said last year he'd get out of the pocket too quickly. And said last year had some issues throwing to his left in terms of his footwork.
Yeah, I think they've taken a long look at that this offseason.
Tannehill able to complete. Mike Wallace on the sideline pattern picks up the first down, an 11-yard gain.
Yeah, Mark, you were talking about Tannehill. I really feel he benefited from all those reps as a rookie last year. I think he does look more comfortable in this offense. You talked about playing faster. I think his numbers across the board would indicate that there has been some improvement. I think he's lost some of the hesitation in his game, and he talked about those throws to his left. I mean, it's really boils down to footwork, getting those hip square to the target. Is something he's worked on a lot with his quarterback coach this offseason.
And he's made an effort to get Wallace involved. That was his 4th catch. Miller, the ball carry, just a yard pickup. Wallace 4 catches, 41 yards.
You know, you look at the Dolphins, Marv, just 49 yards of offense so far in this one. And they have not been good on first down. The one thing they have done is gotten the ball to Mike Wallace a little bit, 4 catches. I always think it's important to get these receivers some touches early so that they can get into the flow of the game. They can get some confidence in this offense. They have not done a very good job of that with the exception of week 2.
And there's been so much talk in this area about the relationship between Tannehill and Wallace, which has to be developed. Here's Tannehill going deep down the field for Wallace. He's got it. I guess the relationship is pretty good right now.
Really a nice job here by Tannehill. He's trying to get this one, trying to throw the ball to his left. It's not there. Watch his eyes. He's going to try and pump this one, and it's not there. He comes all the way back across the field, and then he puts a good air on this and allows the speedster, Mike Wallace, to run under it, right by the safety, Matt Elam.
Wallace, 49 yards on the reception. Did it against double coverage from Webb and the rookie Elam. And there's no question Tannehill is making a conscious effort to go in the direction of Wallace. Usually his favorite receiver is Brian Hartline. Here's Tannehill on first down. Sidearms. Completing to the tight end Charles Clay, but it's a loss of 2 yards.
He's trying to get the tight end involved a little bit in the screen game. I've been impressed with Charles Clay. I think he's been pretty productive in a way that a lot of people didn't expect. He's already got 20 catches coming into this one, and when they lost Dustin Keller, everyone was concerned that the production and the consistency at the tight end position would go down. It's not been the case so far with Charles Clay.
Dustin Keller, the one-time Jet, had a season-ending surgery on his knee. Here's Tannehill, going to complete along the sideline. And again, it is Wallace.
Well, after you run by him in the secondary, you're going to see Ladarius Webb. He's playing a little bit off now. You don't want him to do it again. And so now, because of that, you're going to get some of these underneath throws. Look how far off Webb is from Wallace.
Picked up 9. It's a 3rd down and 3 at the 7.
Dolphins have been really good in this part of the field. A perfect 11 for 11 down in the red zone.
Tannehill again from the shotgun, looking left, throws. It is incomplete. Intended for Brandon Gibson, 5-year man out of Washington State, former St. Louis Ram.
A really nice job recovering. You're going to see Webb. He just tries to pull that left arm of Brandon Gibson's behind. Good alert play by the corner.
You hear the murmuring of the crowd. They wanted to see the Dolphins go for it on a 4th and 3. It'll be a 25-yard field goal for Caleb Sturgis, who hit from 37 earlier. So Sturgis 9 for 9 for the season, and the game is tied at 6.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Ameriprise Financial. More within reach. Microsoft Surface. Click in and do more. And by oneandone.com. Pre-reserved now from over 700 new domains with oneandone.com.
Back in Miami, coming up on the Verizon halftime report. Join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, Coach Bill Cowher. They'll have all the latest NFL scores and highlights. Plus, Jim Nance and Phil Simms preview the Denver-Dallas matchup coming up on the Verizon halftime report. Deontay Thompson is back. They'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. So here comes Joe Flacco. Ravens return to the offense. Game tied at 6. Fantasy football fans, check out CBSSports.com. Player Challenge, a new 4-week game with a cash prize in every league. See rules and sign up at CBSSports.com/challenge. Ravens take over at their 20-yard line. And give us to Pierce. A change on Baltimore's offensive line. A.Q. Shipley, 2nd-year man from Penn State, has come out at left guard for the starter, Kalichi Osemele. We checked with the Ravens bench, and the word is that Osemele has had back issues, but nothing concrete as to why he is not in there. Osemele, a 2nd-round pick last season out of Iowa State. And the handoff, Pierce. Stopped by Clemens. The numbers on Flacco: 5 for 10, 106 yards, and that 41-yard completion to Torrey Smith, and a 43-yarder for the tight end Ed Dixon. Those his big plays.
Yeah, he's been able to keep it all together, Marv. We talked about the injuries at wide receiver, at tight end, and just got to take care of the ball. A little bit of a hiccup last week for Joe Flacco. Usually a pretty good decision maker. We don't typically see him turn the ball over like that.
3rd down and 3. Flacco in trouble. Down he goes. No, he's still up on his feet. Looked like they had him, and now they do. Olivier Vernon, the right defensive end. That's a loss of 7 and a sack for the Dolphins. I thought they had him prior to that.
Well, they get good push. They've been getting it all day on the outside, and of course, Flacco's trying to step up. Of course, you're getting push up inside as well. And they're going through some changes with their protection scheme. They're asking the offensive line, the tackles in particular, to play a little bit wider, a little bit more vertical depth. The guards have to be firmer up inside.
He did slip away from Jared Odrick. That was hauled down by Vernon. This is Thigpen, who has speed, but not this time, as he crossed the 35. A 53-yard punt, a 9-yard return. Josh Bynes involved in that tackle.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Pfizer. And by Toyota Care. Scheduled maintenance, no cost.
To this point, it's been an exchange of field goals by the rookie Caleb Sturgis and the second-year player Justin Tucker. Miami head coach Joe Philbin, 52 years old, out of Springfield, Massachusetts, in his second season as the head coach of the Dolphins. Miami takes over. Daniel Thomas spun around, and he is dumped by Terrell Suggs. Now, we were at practice on Friday, and you could just tell from Joe Philbin's attitude and also several of the other coaches, Rich, they were not happy about their team's performance at practice on Friday. Now, what exactly does that mean? I'm sure you've seen situations where it's a bad practice, you come back on Sunday, the team is terrific. Or you've seen the other possibility.
Yeah, but you do want Friday to be your final tune-up. You want it to be sharp. According to Joe Philbin, it wasn't good enough, and that's why he stopped practice and almost had him start it over.
Second down and 9. Here's Tannehill. Long look. And through underneath, he has Daniel Thomas. Picked up 4.
Well, the thing about Joe Philbin, Marv, is he's steady. I mean, I thought that, even last year, he's never going to waver and get away from his core beliefs and values as a coach. He's going to trust his instincts and stay the course, and we saw that at practice on Friday. I mean, he gave him a stern talking to him. That's probably putting it nicely. He said the concentration and focus wasn't good enough, and honestly, it's always the best policy. It's not good. You need to tell the team.
Looked like Courtney Upshaw left the field. Appears to be a shoulder. Tannehill in trouble, and he's taken down. Second sack for the Ravens, and this time it's Pernell McPhee, 3-year ban from Mississippi State. Backup linebacker.
Well, Pernell McPhee really benefits. He's getting doubled, and he really benefits from the fact that you have Suggs and Dumerville on the outside. And it gives them more flexibility and versatility with their rush because of the pressure they get off the edge.
Tandon Doss is back deep. Brandon Fields going to kick one out of the stadium. This one is angled to the near side. Doss says, hey, let it go. And we'll see where they spot it. It's a 48-yard punt. Dylan McDermott and Tony Collette star in the new drama that critics are calling a white-knuckle conspiracy thriller. Get hooked on Hostages tomorrow at 10, 9 Central, only CBS. I myself was stunned when you asked Joe Philbin the other day about the bad practice and he asked you to leave the room. I was upset. Nobody else was. It should be pointed out.
No, he wasn't fooling around. But you know what? He's intense. And I think that sometimes the team takes on the personality of their head coach. And I think we've seen that from the Dolphins through the first month of the season. I mean, they play physical, they get after you, they compete, and they have fun doing it.
Ravens 1st and 10 from the 16. Handoff for Rice. Picked up 3. Ray Rice, 10 carries, 27 yards, his longest run, gain of 7. And Bernard Pierce also struggling. Pierce playing through a hamstring problem, 4 carries, 7 yards. That's the way it's been going for the Ravens.
Really struggling on the early downs, and that puts them in some big numbers on 3rd down.
Second down and 7. Nice pass from Flacco, complete for the first down. Out of the 35, Torrey Smith makes the reception for 15.
And you're going to see Brent Grimes matched up more on Torrey Smith today. They're going to move him around a little bit, and you just see the cushion that he gives Torrey Smith. They have such respect for his vertical speed. And, I think you've got to get up on the line of scrimmage and jam and disrupt Torrey Smith and not give him free releases all day. Look how soft the coverage is here. With Joe Flacco, you've got to keep taking advantage of that one.
Right up in the eye with Rice in front of the fullback, Leach. Oh, he's hit back behind the line. Koa Nisi with a hard hit on Ray Rice for a loss of 2.
Boy, he heads right downhill, and you just see Ray Rice never feels him on the backside. Koa Nisi. Good pass rusher. really has improved over the last couple seasons in terms of playing the run. He's becoming a complete player at the outside linebacker position.
Ravens hit with some additional bad news. I should say Miami hit with bad news. Donnell Ellaby, the former Raven, middle linebacker, played very well, particularly in the first quarter. He's sidelined with a bad shoulder. Here's Flacco throwing off the back foot and is incomplete. Pass intended for Deontay Thompson, covered by Nolan Carroll.
Well, Derek Shelby, he's going to get there, and Flacco simply can't hold him. You see the defensive end. Still needs an extra split second. Got to let go of that before the receiver's ready. Again, we've been talking about these third down numbers. Look at this, Mark, 3rd and 12. He's not going to convert a lot of these against a good Miami defense.
Coming up on 2 minutes to play in the first half. Game tied at 6. Here's the pump and the throw intended for Smith.
Well, they're trying to go after Joe Flacco. You're going to see them bring Brent Grimes off the edge. They bring the outside linebacker, and then they peel out and play zone behind it with Jones and the safety over the top.
Sam Cook on for his 4th punt. Marcus Thigpen back at his 20 for Miami. Lets it go as it flies out of bounds, and again Cook with a bad punt. Had a 25-yarder earlier, and this a 26-yard punt, most unusual for Sam Cook. Just under 2 minutes remaining, first half, game tied at 6. Miami ball inside their 40-yard line. Miller, the running back. Tannehill completes for a short gain over the middle to Brandon Gibson. Now, Rich Tannehill is 11 of 15. Looked like he came up limping, motioning to the sideline that he's okay.
I think he's all right. You know, they've got great field position here, Marv. Plenty of time and 2 timeouts left. They've yet to convert a 3rd down in this game.
Tannehill took a low snap, and the play is whistled dead. Flag is down.
Ball start, number 71, offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
It's on the left tackle, Jonathan Martin, who has had his struggles.
Ooh, man, you watch that left foot, he got stepped on. That hurts. Get one of those size 14 shoes by the big offensive lineman with cleats. You know, people that have broken a bone in their foot getting stepped on by an offensive lineman. Actually, you're listening to him. It can hurt.
2nd down and 10. Tannehill looking Hartline's way, then goes to Wallace, and he's not able to hang on. He is covered by Ladarius Webb, who was a question mark for today. He was back at practice on Friday after missing a couple of days with a thigh injury.
Well, Webb's had his hands full today. Does a nice job, though, getting a hand in here. And the ball needed a little bit more air on it. Tannehill's doing a better job working through his progressions. We've seen a couple times today him start to his left, check the middle, and work all the way back to his right to Mike Wallace.
The other side, Hartline, very quiet, kind of playing the role of a decoy. See Tannehill looking that way, and it's caught by Hartline. He's to the 30, and down he goes. Brian Hartline coming up with the catch for 30 yards, hit by Elam, and a timeout is called with 58 seconds left in the half. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cowher. They'll have all the latest NFL scores and highlights, plus Jim Nance and Phil Simms preview Denver and Dallas, all coming up on the Verizon Halftime. Miami took that timeout. They have 1 remaining and a 1st down. Once again, Tannehill completes over at the far side to, yes, Brian Hartline. That's good for a 21-yard pickup.
A really nice decision there by Tannehill. He's got Gibson in the flat. He passes him up. He tries to take the bigger chunk down the field to Hartline. That's 2 straight completions for Brian Hartline. And the way to get him involved finally here in the first half.
His only 2 catches in this game. 23 for the season. He leads Miami in that department. First and goal inside the 10. Miami has been very efficient in the red zone. Miller, the running back. Hartline now looks right. He pumps. He throws, and Wallace was not looking that way. So it is incomplete.
Well, some confusion there. Mike Wallace, as you mentioned, Mark, not even looking for the ball. Ryan Tannehill has to recock and throw that one away. Sometimes you see that when you study the film. You know, clearly, quarterback's got some comfort level with Brian Hartline. I think still developing that chemistry right now with Mike Wallace. It's a work in progress.
Hartline left, Wallace right. Second and goal inside the 10. Tannehill's pass is dropped. He had nowhere to go, but could not hold on over the middle. He was covered by Webb.
Yeah, they're just going to try and bring him back underneath on a little slant route. They've got the tight end and the other receiver, Gibson, clearing out. Going to squeeze it. Of course, Webb right there to make a play.
Miami has 1 timeout remaining. 50 seconds to go. First half. The game is tied at 6. Tannehill looking. Hartline. He's got it. Touchdown. Correction, it's Charles Clay. Clay makes the catch.
Well, they do a nice job. They're going to put 3 receivers down here, and they get the matchup they're looking for. Actually, Clay on the corner. Jimmy Smith. This is a back shoulder throw all the way. You can look at Clay. He's looking back inside at Ryan Tannehill, and Tannehill does a nice job. Look at him look back for the ball early. And he knows it's going to be a back shoulder throw. Nice adjustment by Clay.
Charles Clay has been a very pleasant surprise. That's his 2nd touchdown of the season. You talked about it earlier. He is starting for Dustin Keller, who suffered that season-ending knee injury in preseason.
Well, they're going to take a look at that one, Marv. As he's catching that ball, looks like as he's coming to the ground. Yeah, they're going to definitely take a look at that one. We saw a quick replay of it up here in the booth. Nice adjustment. Now watch to see whether or not he doesn't catch it cleanly. And that ball, you see the bottom of it? That ball actually hits the ground first, the tip of the ball. He doesn't catch it cleanly. You watch real close, it hits his shoulder pad first. That'll be an interesting one, whether or not they feel he has possession.
And all touchdown plays are reviewed automatically.
See whether or not that ball actually moves or not. That pylon is actually in the way. Looks like he's trapped it against his body. It's hard to tell whether or not the ball actually moves when he hits the ground. You see, watch it. It's going to hit his shoulder pad first. You see it hit his chest? And then he traps it right there, and it's tough to tell whether or not the ball actually moves. Looks like he's got it squeezed against his forearm and chest. It may be a catch. Really hard to tell whether or not the ball actually moves when he goes to the ground. And again, if it's inconclusive, I think it's going to stay.
They are looking at it upstairs, and they're taking a long look.
It's so much easier if you can catch the ball with your hands. When it gets in on your body, gets in on your chest, that ball will bounce off the front of your shoulder pad, down around your sternum. The thing that Clay did do a nice job of is squeeze it with the inside of his arm, his forearm.
Call on the field was touchdown. Carl Cheffers will get the word in a moment and then pass it on.
I think it'll be hard to to change the call here. Just didn't see the ball move.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
It is a touchdown for Miami.
A really nice throw by Tannehill, and of course, we've been talking about Charles Clay and how he's become more and more involved in the passing game. Really nice job there squeezing it, although he didn't catch it cleanly at first.
7 plays, 60 yards for 1:09. Excellent drive, engineered by Tannehill. Extra point tagged on by Sturgis, and Miami has a 13-6 lead. Well, Rich, as you're well aware, next Sunday is an NFL Today, let's say, road trip, as Boomer Esiason, Bill Cowher, Shannon Sharp will be leaving the studio, entering the announce booth as analysts covering one of their former teams, while James Brown and Dan Marino will man the controls in New York. The guys hit the road next Sunday for the NFL Today road trip right here on CBS. So that means that Boomer will be involved with the Cincinnati game, Bill with Pittsburgh, and Shannon with Denver. I'm just wondering, though, will the crews who normally work the game, will they have the door locked of the announce booth?
I would. You wouldn't get a word in edgewise with those guys, but it's good to see them out going back to visit their former teams. And
I mean, nothing personal, as you know.
There's not enough room up here for a third, Marv.
Right.
You, myself, and Mike, and
so you would use that excuse. That's good.
Russ. There's not enough room. These are small broadcast booths.
Well, we have our statistician, Russ Tillin, our spotter, Mike Bazemore. They like to spread out, usually in your area. Here's Thompson on the return for the Ravens. Going wide to the 25, to the 30, and then pushed out with 39 seconds remaining in this first half. A 35-yard return.
That's going to be a personal foul on Thompson.
So
it's a stiff arm right to the face of Caleb Sturgis, the kicker for the Dolphins.
So that pink flag thrown.
Probably.
Personal foul, face mask, number 83 of the return team. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Well, it's called on the kick returner, Deontay Thompson.
Watch him stick this right hand right in the face of the kicker. Sturgis has to learn to go low. That's twice now that we've seen Thompson, Marv, get outside, contain on these kickoff returns.
Well, 39 seconds remaining. How do the Ravens play it here?
Well, it's like anything with Joe Flacco, they'll continue to be aggressive, but you got to be smart in this situation as well. You can't turn it over in your own end.
Dumps it off twice.
You got to take one of those timeouts right now.
Philip Wheeler on the cover. So the Ravens now have one timeout remaining with 28 seconds to play in this first half.
And you remember now, you've got a guy in the huddle, and Torrey Smith, that can go up and get it. And he can really haul down the middle of the field. And Joe Flacco, the one thing you can't ever underestimate with Joe Flacco is his arm strength. He can easily throw it 60 yards. And so if you can just give him an extra second or two to sit back there and set his feet, he can launch one downfield to Torrey Smith. Of course, if you're the Dolphins, you can't give up the deep ball.
Just added a couple of seconds to the clock for 30 seconds to go. Second down and 2 from the gun. Flacco facing pressure. Down he goes. Kolomisi, the outside linebacker, 4-year man from Utah, coming up with the sack. Olivier Vernon with the first hit, and Miami with its second sack of the half.
And they're just going to let it run it out here. Go to the locker room down 13-6. They've got plenty of things to get straightened out, and it really starts with protection, Marv, in the second half.
So that is the end of the first half. Miami with a 13-6 lead over Baltimore. We'll be back with the Verizon halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. halftime in Miami, and the Dolphins with a 13-6 lead over the Ravens. Marv Albert along with Rich Gannon, and this a matchup of two teams coming off bad losses a week ago. What's your feel for the first half?
Well, if you like good defense, you're going to like this game. I mean, not a lot of production offensively. Neither team able to run the football. Neither team doing a good enough job protecting the quarterback. I think we're going to see more of that in the second half.
Look at the quarterback numbers. Flacco 7 of 14, Tannehill 14 for 21. Diet Pepsi encourages fans to bid on peak gear to benefit the NFL's a crucial catch campaign. Show you're fan enough by visiting NFL.com/auction to bid for pink.
Yeah, we've been talking about the rushing yards again. Neither team has been able to get much done there. A lot of talk this week about Ray Rice. They just haven't gotten him going. And of course, when you're not successful on the early downs, it makes it difficult on third down. Neither team's had a lot of success there either. Baltimore just 2 of 8. The Dolphins just 2 of 9. Of course, you look at the quarterback sacks. Both teams struggling protecting their signal callers. Good look at Ray Rice, and you just got to keep feeding him the rock. Keep giving him opportunities. Not just in the running game, but the passing game as well. You see his running back coach there, Wilbur Montgomery, the great Philadelphia Eagle. Keep giving him opportunities. They'll eventually break through.
From Miami's point of view, Ryan Tannehill has been looking for Mike Wallace. Does have 6 receptions, 99 yards, and Brian Hartline came alive in the second quarter. The return by Thompson out across the 20-yard line. Picked up 24. Now look at the two quarterbacks. Joe Flacco, 7 for 14. He's been sacked twice. And Tannehill is 14 of 21, 178 yards, including the touchdown. But Joe Flacco, Rich, is shorthanded, particularly in terms of the receiving corps.
Yeah, it really is. And, you think about the injury to Jacoby Jones, Marlon Brown, the hamstring. Thought he may go. That didn't happen. Of course, they released Brandon Stokely. But really the big story has been how the Dolphins have matched up defensively. You get a good look at Ellerby, of course. Vernon not allowed these backs to get on the edge. And, of course, Joe Flacco has been running for his life most of the first half. They're big and strong up inside, and they good pressure on the outside as well. They played really, really good defense here in the first half.
Second out and 6. Rice trying to accelerate. Stopped by Koa Misi for no gain.
Yeah, the one knock on the Dolphins from a defensive perspective is that they don't generate a lot of impact plays. The forced fumbles, the sacks, the interceptions. Those numbers down from a year ago through the first 4 games of the season. Got to get their hands on more balls in the secondary.
Flacco looking at a 3rd and 5. Flacco on the run, has the first down, and slides across the 40. That's a 14-yard gain for Flacco.
They're playing 2 deep coverage, and Joe Flacco does a nice job stepping up. Then he recognizes that it is 2 deep man-to-man coverage. Everybody's got their eyes turned to the line of scrimmage. Joe does the next best thing, pulls the ball down and run. This is something he can do. You don't think of Joe Flacco as a mobile quarterback, but he is 6'6", he is 245, and he can make some first downs with his legs.
First down at the 39-yard line. Ravens come in at 2-2. The Dolphins 3-1. Rice in the backfield, off the handoff, trying to pick his way. Went for 4. Stopped by Derek Shelby, the backup defensive end. Baltimore blown out at Denver in their opener. They win 2 straight at home against Cleveland and Houston. A convincing victory over the Texans, and last week the loss up in Buffalo. And the Ravens certainly had a shot in the final minutes to pull it out despite all the problems. Here's Flacco throwing the long ball. It is incomplete. Intended for Thompson, but you see the flag. Deontay Thompson, who has the speed, he's back after suffering a concussion, made his return last week.
This one's interesting. The official from the far side of the field, the far side back judge, made this call.
Yeah,
pass interference. Number 28
Carroll.
defense. Automatic. First down.
The interference call, and Carroll shaken up.
Well, again, we talked about 2 or 3 times a quarter. Joe Flacco is going to take some shots down the field. You see a little jostling here. I thought that was pretty good coverage.
Noah Carroll, the right corner, involved in that interference penalty, shaken up, back to the bench as you see the play once again.
It comes right down on that right shoulder. I really didn't see the PI. I thought they were both going for the ball, but boy, it landed hard on the right shoulder and his head.
Carroll had been playing for Dimitri Patterson, and that is dropped pass intended for Torrey Smith. So with Carroll back on the sideline, the rookie from Boise State, Jamar Taylor, has come on.
Yeah, they're really banged up right now at corner. They're without, as you mentioned, Dimitri Patterson, and of course, Will Davis didn't dress. Nolan Carroll out. You know that Jim Caldwell, the offensive coordinator, and Joe Flacco very aware that they're thin right now at corner.
Second down and 10. Taylor made his NFL debut last week and played more snaps than expected because of all the injuries in the secondary, so he could be a target here. Second down and 10. Off the pump, Flacco fires for the end zone and overthrows, but again a flag. Intended for Torrey Smith, covered by the left corner, Brent Grimes.
Pass interference. Number 21 defense. Automatic. First down.
It was called on Grimes, a 7-year man, former member of the Atlanta Falcons, and that is an 18-yard penalty.
Yeah, they get him on a double move, a little slant and go. You see Grimes, he peeks inside. He's in position now. Now he sticks out that right hand. That's what the official gets him for. Sometimes these corners panic when they don't get their head around and find the ball.
Sets up a first and goal at the 2. Rice and Leach in the backfield, lined up in the eye, and the handoff. Rice. Ray Rice is in for the touchdown. So this drive helped by 55 yards in penalties on pass interference.
Yeah, good job by Vontae Leash coming in there, and Ray Rice following his big fullback up inside. 41st career touchdown for Ray Rice.
For Ray, only a second this season. Here's Justin Tucker looking to tie the game. And he does. 6 plays, 80 yards, just under 3 minutes. Ravens and Dolphins even at 13.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Nationwide Insurance. Nationwide is on your side. And by Red Strawberry Ale. Pick different.
It is a beautiful day in South Florida. 3 minutes in, third quarter. And the Ravens and the Dolphins tied it at 13. Marcus Thigpen is back deep. Thigpen in his second year out of Indiana. Comes up, and here he comes to the 15. Nice spin, and down he goes at about the 17-yard line. Spun around by Michael Huff. An 18-yard return. Well, only CBS has the #1 show on television. See why 15 million viewers are laughing with Robin Williams and the new hit comedy The Crazy Ones, Thursday at 9, 8 Central on America's most watched network. Browns 1st and 10. Ryan Tannehill is the quarterback. Lamar Miller, the running back. And it's Tannehill off the fake. Tannehill, a one-time wide receiver in college, can run, as we saw last week, but Courtney Upshaw able to cut him down.
Yeah, now he does a nice job. He's going to put this one in Lamar Miller's gut, and then he pulls it out. You see Upshaw try and rally, and the thing that they've been talking about with Tannehill all week, ball security. You've got to do a better job protecting the ball when you decide to pull it down and run.
And the Ravens happy that Upshaw is back. He had hurt his shoulder in the first half. He's returned here in the second half. Tannehill looks to throw a bullet that is caught across the 30 for a first down. It's Mike Wallace coming up with a 7th catch. He's met by Ladarius Webb.
You see the Dolphins jumping the ball here now. They practice fast. It's the one thing that they do. Just watch the tempo and the pace during practice on a Friday. It's impressive.
First down for Miami at their 30-yard line. Tannehill's pass is caught. Brandon Gibson has been a target late second quarter on. Darryl Smith, the middle linebacker, making the stop.
Yeah, I really like the addition of Brandon Gibson. It gives him a much bigger body inside than what they had a year ago in Devon Bess. He's still able to run the vertical routes as well, the seams and those type of things. And he spent most of his career outside, so he's learning to play in the slot. I think he's getting more comfortable, and it's a lot different when you go from playing on the perimeter to moving back inside the slot.
Gibson 51 catches with the Rams last year. 2nd and 6 for the Dolphins. Tannehill throwing deep downfield for Wallace. It is broken up. Corey Graham on the coverage. The fans here looking for a penalty. There's no flag.
When you've got a receiver like Mike Wallace, it's very difficult to overthrow him. We've seen a couple throws here by Tannehill today where they're a little underthrown. Mike Wallace, he's got another 5-7 yards in front of him where he can go get this ball. You got to get it up on time. If you don't get the ball out on time, Mike Wallace, he may run right through it, and you can't reach him.
3rd down and 6, but the good news for Miami is that they are looking for Wallace with the deep ball, which has not been the situation. And Tannehill brought it back. He was about to throw. Elvis Dumerville was all over him.
Yeah, Dumerville, he gets the matchup that he wants, and he's got some speed right on the edge, and he does a good job closing. And you see Claybo here, he just goes right underneath him. He beats him up top with a little bit of strength, and he goes back underneath with that speed, and he gets that right hand on Tannehill's arm.
So Tannen Doss is back. Getting back to Wallace, not impressive numbers coming into today when you consider that most of the catches took place against the Colts in week number 2, so the numbers deceiving, except for today. Line drive, Doss behind his 15. Has the running room and is able to get across the 35-yard line. 53-yard punt, 18-yard return. Jelani Jenkins on the tackle, and a flag is down at the 30. We will hear from Carl Cheffers.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 41 return team. 10-yard penalty. First down. Timeout.
It is on Anthony Levine, special teamer. And now we'll go to break. Game tied at 13, early 3rd. All right, it's the Ravens, 1st and 10 from the 20, and Joe Flacco working against an injury hit Miami defense without Donnell Ellerbe and Nolan Carroll at this moment. And he's able to find Deontay Thompson, who is covered by Brent Grimes.
And when you run these nakeds back into 2-deep coverage, you've got to feel the corner out in front. And Joe Flacco's got to try and stop Thompson in the hole there so he doesn't take that head-on collision.
5-yard pickup and a 2nd down and 5. Rice in the backfield. Rice short of the first down. Philip Wheeler, the outside linebacker, making the stop.
Yeah, that last drive, Marv, really the big play. Joe Flacco scrambles for a third down. Of course, they've got the benefit of a couple PI calls. This one on Carroll, and of course, they come right back, take a shot. Torrey Smith, Grimes gets called for the PI, and of course, Ray Rice there to finish it off. Again, you talk about what they've got to do now moving forward. Just because they haven't had success running the football doesn't mean they stop doing it. Remember what happened last week? They were in a tight game against Buffalo, and they only ran it twice in the second half. That was a huge mistake.
PI pass interference?
You got it,
We got it, thank you.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by McDonald's. I'm loving it. And by E-Trade.
Flacco looking at a third and about a yard. A handoff to Rice. And has the first down.
That's what they got to do. They have to be able to get that Dolphins defensive line moving a little bit so they can find some creases and some vertical seams in the running game.
And we're told that cornerback Nolan Carroll, who's been playing for Dimitri Patterson with a rib injury, and probably will not return, and no word on Donnell Ellerby, who has not come back since he was injured back in the first half. He had played outstanding in the opening quarter against his former team. He is still called questionable. Now Pierce in the backfield. And he goes for short yardage, stopped by Nisi. We're set for an update. Here's JB and Shannon.
Marvin Rich, we're asking Shannon to give Ryan Fitzpatrick a little credit.
I don't know if they have this play in the playbook. Ryan Fitzpatrick gets pressured, shovels the ball off to Chris Johnson, and he still has wheels, JB. Picks up a block right there, picks up another one from Nate Washington, gets into the end zone, 13-7 Kansas City on top.
That's improvising. Marv Albert, Rich Gannon.
All right, JB, Kansas City looking to make it 5-0. Ed Dixon, the tight end who made that catch earlier today, picks up 8. Stopped by the strong safety Rashad Jones.
Well, Joe Flacco talked to us last night about Ed Dixon. He said that every time he's struggled a little bit, he's had some drops, he's come to Joe and apologized. He said, Joe said, I don't need you to apologize. We'll just catch it. Have some fun out there. I think he struggled a little bit with his confidence. He hasn't really gotten off to the kind of start he was hoping for this season.
Picked up the first down, and now Pierce, with one of his better runs, found the hole on the left, and Derek Shelby was able to get the wraps on him. 6 yards on the carry for Bernard Pierce. Pierce, a third-round pick last year out of Temple, looks to run over defenders and has pretty good speed. He'll break tackles.
When they're both healthy and both rolling, it makes it difficult for a defense because you always have a fresh back on the field.
2nd and 4. It's caught by Duss. What a pass by Flacco, who was facing the pressure, was able to hang in and fired one down the right sideline. That's a 40-yard pass play by Flacco and a first down inside the 15.
And really a nice job by Doss adjusting to that ball. He's looking over his left shoulder and he works all the way back. And again, Flacco's gotten hit just about every throw, but the thing I like about him, he stands tall, he stands in there with a tough jaw. He keeps his eyes downfield.
Olivier Vernon put the pressure on Flacco. First down at the 13-yard line, a long count. Handoff to Rice. Stopped by Shelby. Tandon Doss, a 3-year man from Indiana who has been the kick return man with the injury suffered by Jacoby Jones. Doss had been released and then re-signed when Jones hurt his knee.
You just get the sense that they really haven't found their chemistry yet in the passing game with all the injuries that they've had around Joe Flacco.
2nd down and 7. The ball at the Miami 10. 5 minutes to play here in the third. Flacco swings it out. He has Rice. Rice trying to break the tackle. Jonathan Freeney holding on.
That was a really good tackle by Freeney. Now looks like he's got a cramp. Not an easy tackle. Ray Rice in the open field. Freeney does a nice job closing the gap between himself and the running back and finds a way to get Ray on the ground.
One Rutgers guy going after another. Jonathan Freeney, second-year player, but he is hurt coming into today with an injured shoulder, and we will take a break. Baltimore has a 3rd and 4 at the Miami 7-yard line.
A great opportunity here for Joe Flacco and this Ravens offense, and looks like they're going to get some form of man-to-man coverage.
Rice to the right of Flacco.
You see him changing the play at the line of scrimmage.
And Goss in the slot. Flacco throws. Is incomplete. So the field goal unit will check back in.
Flacco talked about this last week as well, Marv. They've gotten down in the red zone. They've been settling for field goals too often. Got to get that straightened out. Good red zone teams have the ability to run the ball in that part of the field. And that's not something that Baltimore has done well this season.
This is Justin Tucker with a 25-yard attempt. He's hit from 42, he's hit from 50, and able to put it right through. So the Ravens take the lead, 16-13. You can get inside the mind of a quarterback. You can join Phil Simms, our very own Rich Gannon, Steve Berline, Adam Shine on NFL Monday QB tomorrow at 6:30 Eastern on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Monday, a very big day for Rich. He has 64 radio shows plus the QB show.
That's it. It's been a lot of work. But you know what? We love doing it.
What a proper answer. Yeah. How about 91 degrees? We started at 88. And often, particularly when the Dolphins were a very good team, opposition clubs would wilter in the heat in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, these teams from the Northeast, you know, you come down here in October, you think it's going to be pleasant, you get the heat and humidity, and contributes to the injuries and the dehydration, and it can take your breath away, I'll tell you. You've got to do a good job as a coaching staff being sensitive to that and making sure you're making substitutions with those pass rushers, with the running backs.
Head coach John Harbaugh, his team in front, 16-13. Marcus Thigpen on the return, puts the speed on. Reaching out near the 30-yard line. It's a 31-yard return. Don Jones making the stop.
Well, you look at the fantasy stat pack, not a lot of great numbers for either quarterback, and of course neither running back has been able to get anything going. Ray Rice just 18 for 46. Look at that Lamar Miller. Look at the Miami play selection. 10 rushes and 27 passes. That's not who they want to be as an offense right now.
Almost sounds like the Ravens last week. Not quite with the 50 passes thrown by Flacco. Here's Tannehill gunning it and completes for the first down. He has Brandon Gibson, who has suddenly emerged.
Well, they try a little play action. For some reason, the back, he aborts the fake. He's going to go block. He had a ball off the edge. That's why he aborts the fake. But nice job by Brandon Gibson working across the middle of the field.
That's a 19-yard gain. Daniel Thomas, the running back, first down for Miami at their 47-yard line. And Tannehill able to complete. Finds Hartline in the flat and finds him on the right side, which is unusual. Usually plays the left side. We're set for an update. JV and Shannon.
Looking for victory number 1, Giants within 5.
Yes, JB. Eli Manning back to pass. Quick slant to Reuben Randall. Missed tackle. Terrible angle by the Eagles safety. 19-14 Eagles. Giants are coming back.
5:43 left in the third. Back to Marv and Rich.
You know, you can tell Shannon is just warming up for that
He
opportunity.
can't wait till next
in the
week.
booth. He's got it down. 2nd and 2. Just under 3 to go. In the third, Tannehill with a long hit and completes to Wallace. The question is, was he inbound?
Well, I really like how the ball's coming out of the hands of Ryan Tannehill. And again, we've been talking about running by him. Now they're going to stop him in the hole with a back shoulder throw. I don't know that he gets that right heel in. Take a look at that one. This is a smart idea, jumping the ball before they can get a look at it.
Well, they tried, but the challenge flag thrown by John Harbaugh.
And remember week 1 out in Denver, Peyton Manning got him with Wes Welker. And before the coaches could get a look at it, Peyton Manning jumped the ball and
The
got a
challenge
playoff.
flag came out prior to the snap. The coach is challenging the ruling on the field of a completed pass. We'll review the play.
A little quicker with the trigger, John Harbaugh and the coaching staff.
I think it's the pink color moves more swiftly.
Let's see when he catches it. I don't think that right heel gets in. You look right there, and the right foot is off the ground, and of course you see the back of that heel right there. Tries the toe touch, but I just don't think he gets that foot in bounds.
However, the Dolphins have to feel very good about the rapport we've seen to this point between Tannehill and Wallace.
Yeah, I think you look at where Wallace is, and Marvin, 3 different offensive systems in 3 years with Bruce Arians and Todd Haley, and now Mike Sherman. You look at I think just having him out there opens things up for everybody else, particularly a guy like Brian Hartline. I think they're seeing more 2-deep zone coverage because of the fact that they've got a guy like Mike Wallace on the field. Good shot of it right there, guys.
Wallace signing's a free agent, following the 4 years with the Steelers, and put up huge numbers with Pittsburgh.
He just scares you with his speed. You don't want him to run by you in the secondary, because you have that type of speed. You can be very good at those comebacks and those back shoulder throws and the digs and some of the underneath stuff, because these corners don't want to give up the big one.
Well, they have backed it up. Let's get the official word from the referee, Carl Sheffers.
He's just crossing his T's and dotting his I's. Just wants to make sure. I think what we see is the front part of his foot, the toe is in bounds, but it's got to be both. And the heel clearly comes down out of bounds.
Carl starting his NFL career as a side judge, his dad an official in the Pac-10. It appears the heel out of bounds.
The receiver's second foot came down toe, and then the heel came down out of bounds as part of a natural step. That's an incomplete pass. It'll be 3rd and 2 at the 46-yard line. Baltimore is not charged with a timeout.
The crowd is upset, but it's so obvious when you see it.
Yeah, it is. But here's the thing: as you go back and they look at that on Monday, you've got to realize where you're at in the field, and you've got to give the quarterback a little bit more room on the boundary. And what happens is when you get those outside releases, these corners have done a good job cutting off the speedsters, whether it's Mike Wallace or Torrey Smith. They're running them to the boundary. And if you're Mike Wallace, you've got to either change lanes or push back and give the quarterback a little bit more room on the sidelines.
It is set back to a 3rd and 2. As you see, just under 3 minutes remaining. 3rd quarter. Ravens with a 3-point lead, 16-13 the score.
This is an area where Ryan Tannehill has really improved, Marv, from a year ago. The 3rd down. You look at It's an area he struggled as a rookie, and near the bottom of the league, he's completing almost 70% of his passes now on third down.
Should the ball be at the 45? It's right here. It's at the 46. But it is a 3rd and 2. And they are discussing that particular matter.
This is the gentleman they're talking to right here to make sure that they look at the replay and know exactly where the ball was prior to the snap. You get a good look at it right there. So it's at the 46-yard line. They're off a little bit.
Well, they moved it up. So, yeah, just outside the 45-yard line. Marcus Thigpen in the backfield. And then switch wide to the near side. Tannehill underneath and dropped by Hartline.
Well, it took a little while to develop. You just watch Hartline. He's being covered by Corey Graham, and Corey does a nice job just screening that a little bit. That one actually gets in on Hartline. Watch the right hand, though, of Corey Graham. Would have been a difficult catch for Brian Hartline.
So Tandon Doss is back. 7th punt coming up for Brandon Fields. Doss averaging about 18 per return, including an 82-yard return for a touchdown. That was 2 weeks ago against the Texans. Doss follows it, but lets it go. Takes that high hop out of bounds. And we will head to our studios in New York for an update. JB.
The law firm against his old team.
Yes, JB. Ben Jarvis Green Ellis took it to the new firm, the Bengals. 4th and goal into the end zone. 13-3 Bengals over the Patriots.
Hey, Marv, Shannon rented out a stadium last week preparing for his games next week.
I think that's an excellent idea. I mean that in the nicest way. So the ball is spotted back at the 6-yard line, and Nolan Carroll has made his return at right corner. He's playing for the injured Dimitri Patterson. He had hurt his ribs. And let's see what Flacco and the Ravens can do right here. And off to Pierce, and breaks free. Pierce gets across the 35 for the first down and more. Chris Clemens, the free safety, makes the tackle. It's a 28-yard run.
Well, really nice job by Orr. Then you're going to see the fullback get in there and clean it up. Nice run by Bernard Pierce. And again, the Dolphins have not given up a run of 20 or more this season.
But that has to feel very good for the Ravens. Ray Rice has not been able to get much going, and Pierce with the 28-yarder. Now it's Rice trying to stiff arm his way. Stopped by Jared Odrick. NFL fans, share your story about why you love NFL football. You can go to NFL.com/Together We Make Football for official rules and a chance to win a trip to Super Bowl 48.
You know, if you just keep staying after the running game, you might have runs of 2 and 2 and 1 and 3, and all of a sudden, if you stay after it, you bust a big one there, like we saw from Bernard Pierce.
2nd down and 10 from the 34. Flacco goes sideline. It is incomplete, intended for Deontay Thompson, covered by Nolan Carroll. They'll work on Carroll a bit with the injured ribs.
Well, he's struggling right now, and when you have that rib injury, sometimes, Marv, it's so hard to breathe. Some pretty good protection here, and actually left guard gets beat. Flacco's got to get rid of that one as well.
In fact, they are pulling Carroll. So he heads back to the sideline, and the rookie, Jamar Taylor, has checked back in. 3rd down and 10. Flacco. Complete. Torrey Smith with the first down catch out at the 45. And a flag is tossed. If it holds, it's a 22-yarder.
Prior of the pass. Illegal contact number 53 defense. That penalty is declined. Result of the play, first down.
It is called on Jelani Jenkins of the Dolphins.
Well, Torrey Smith has always been a pretty good dig runner. You see him go up here and get around the corner. He knows it's zone coverage, and he just throttles it right down in the hole. Good job by Flacco stopping him between the linebacker and safety.
Coming up on a minute remaining here in the third, the Ravens with a 16-13 lead on the Dolphins. Play fake, Flacco completes. He's looking sharp. Another Baltimore first down inside the 35. Torrey Smith with a gain of 13. That's his fourth catch.
Now you look at just the experience and the poise in close games with the Ravens. I mean, they've been in a lot of them. You think back to a year ago, you know, a lot of their games were one-score games, and it just, you know, Joe Flacco is as cool as a cucumber in these situations.
First down play, Rice picked up a yard, and that may well be the final play of this third quarter. Ravens in the midst of a good-looking drive, trying to add to that three-point lead, and they'll just work it down. So that is the end of the third quarter. John Harbaugh's Ravens with a 16-13 lead over the Dolphins. We'll be back to Miami after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. It's been a strong third quarter for the Ravens, putting up 10, and they have that 16-13 lead as you check out the line score. On to the fourth, Marv Albert, Rich Gannon. Ravens second down and 9. At the Miami 31-yard line. Rice is back in there. Flacco gets it off. He has Rice underneath at the 25-yard line. He's met there by Koamisi, outside linebacker by way of Utah. Picked up 7, did Ray Rice.
Well, they're running double seams with the tight ends. It's not there. You see Flacco does the next best thing, just scrambles and finds Ray Rice for an easy check down. Flacco doing a nice job avoiding the rush. Talked about it a number of times today, how he's kept his eyes down the field and found the open receiver.
3rd and 2. Doss in motion. Flacco goes that way. Here's the first down with Tandon Doss. 6-yard gain. And the Ravens pick up the third catch by Doss.
Yeah, they've found the rhythm now in the passing game. And of course, it's been to the younger guys as well. Tandon Doss having to play a lot more today because of the injury to Marlon Brown.
Marlon Brown has been such a significant player. Good-looking rookie out of Georgia, was undrafted because of injuries suffered last season. And a flag is down.
Neutral zone infraction, number 79 defense. His movement into the neutral zone caused a reaction by the offense. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
It is on Derek Shelby of Miami.
It's a good alert play there by Michael Orr. You're going to see Shelby move, and then he knows, look, he just pops right up. He knows by doing that he'll draw the foul. Veteran move there by Michael Orr.
Brings us to a first down and 5. The lone deep back is Rice. Rice tries the right side.
I've seen this Baltimore offensive line, Marv. They have played better in this one, and you look what happened last week. You know, the head coach really called them out. Said the whole offensive line have been disappointing. Too many missed assignments and mental errors, and you know, it's one thing to have the physical mistakes, but it's the mental mistakes that are inexcusable. And they were really piling up on the Ravens the first 4 weeks of the season.
Second down and 2. Flacco completes for the first down. It'll be a 1st and goal. Deontay Thompson, who has played well these past couple of weeks after coming back from the concussion, able to make that catch, picked up 6.
Well, the Dolphins, they need more consistent play right now from their secondary. I realize they're banged up and they're without some corners, but man, they have struggled in man-to-man coverage.
Flacco and the Ravens with a 1st and goal. Rice in the backfield. Here is Rice just walking it in. Has to feel good for Ray Rice. His 2nd touchdown of the day.
Yeah, a lot of his big runs have come to the left, almost untouched, just one little power, and he finds a little hole and bounces it to the edge. That looked too easy.
Ravens extending to a 22-13 lead off 11 plays, 94 yards, and they had possession for 5.5 minutes. This is Justin Tucker. 3 minutes in, 4th quarter, 10-point Baltimore lead. Well, they continue to feed Ray Rice, and he has carried 22 times for 53 yards, 2 touchdowns, along with 5 catches, 30 yards. And we know he's doing it through that bruised hip.
Yeah, you know, and we talk about Ray Rice and what he brings to the table. I think sometimes we forget about how powerful he is for a smaller back. Very strong in his legs.
Well, once again, we see the respect for the speed of Marcus Thigpen. They do not want to see him catch the ball and run it out.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Verizon. Never be without football with NFL Mobile from Verizon. FedEx. Request when and where your packages are delivered with FedEx Delivery Manager. And by Acura. Meet the extremely new 2014 MDX at Acura.com/MDX.
What a serene shot, Rich. I know you all about serenity as we return to Sun Life Stadium. And let's see what Ryan Tannehill can do. 1st and 10 from his 20-yard line. Inside handoff, Miller. Ankle tackle preventing that from providing more damage. Darryl Smith with a nice play. It's an 8-yard run.
You know, you look at the Ravens here in the 2nd half. They've found their rhythm and they've turned it on. And whereas Miami can't get out of their own way. And, you know, I think each possession now is absolutely critical for this Dolphins offense. You're trailing by 10 in the 4th quarter. Your defense is wearing down. You're without Wake and Ellerby, and Carroll's been on and off the field, without Patterson, without 4 starters against this Ravens offense.
2nd and 2. Tannehill is taken down. Terrell Suggs. 5th sack of the season for Suggs, and it's number 3 for the Ravens.
Yeah, he just beats Jonathan Martin with those hands and that speed around the edge. And we've been talking about the issues that the Ravens have had to tackle. And you know, Jonathan Martin has had his own struggles, Marv, over there on the left side. You know, there's big shoes to fill. You know, after Jake Long left in free agency, Martin moved over there late in the season after Long went down with an injury from the right side to the left side, but he's been inconsistent at best.
Miami with 21 sacks for the season, which leads the league. Oh, beautiful pass. It's caught by Clay. And he's taken out of bounds. Tannehill combining with the tight end / H-back Charles Clay.
Well, he's got better speed than you anticipate. I mean, it's not like we saw him run by a corner. Now we see him run by a head above the safety. He's really become a better route runner. He's catching the ball much better away from his body. But we can just see that speed there. Very deceptive from Charles Clay.
It's a 45-yard pass play. 1st down for Miami.
Well, they haven't run it very well, so why not throw it? And the most success thrown it against this Baltimore defense.
Tannehill's pass batted down. We're seeing more and more of that throughout the NFL. This time it is Elvis Dumervil.
Well, it's a problem when you don't even block the end man on the line of scrimmage. I mean, you see him right there. They don't even block him. So you say to yourself, is that a scheme situation? The back actually looks like he goes the opposite way. Somebody, they've got to turn the line. Somebody's got to work out there. It's a quick throw. The ball's coming out quick. They don't even account for the end man on the line of scrimmage.
Second down and 10 at the Raven 31. Tannehill looking to his left, and it's off the mark. A diving attempt by Hartline. So Tannehill now 20 of 32, 260 yards, 1 touchdown, and he has been sacked 3 times.
Yeah, that's the kind of recurring theme around here. 4 straight games coming in where he had been sacked 4 times or more. And it's not just, one individual. It's a unit issue type of thing. It's the offensive line. It's the tight ends. The backs have been a little bit of a liability in the protection scheme.
3rd and 10. Tannehill able to step up. Hartline made the catch and had nowhere to go. Just a yard pickup. Jimmy Smith, the right corner, was right there.
Well, just in talking to Tannehill and asking him what the keys were, he obviously talked about handling the pass rush, but you've got to be able to defeat all the man-to-man coverage that you see from the Ravens on 3rd down. They love to bring 5-man pressures and play man behind, and that's an area where the Dolphins have struggled.
So here's Caleb Sturgis, the rookie from Florida. He's hit from 37 and 25. This is a 48-yarder from straight away. A powerful kick, and this one is good. Boy, he is good. He is 13, make that 10 for 10 on the season, including a 54-yarder. Reminder this week, don't miss the show that's in a league by itself with guys who take on all 32 teams and each other every week. James Brown, Phil Simms, Chris Collinsworth, along with the artistry of NFL films. Catch Inside the NFL Wednesday at 9 only on Showtime. Thompson is back. Short kick. Thompson across the 20-yard line. So it's a 24-yard return. Aerial coverage of today's game being provided by MetLife. A look at Sun Life Stadium in Miami. Big crowd on hand. Marv Albert, Rich Gannon, with 9.5 remaining in this 4th quarter. And the Ravens have a 23-16 lead on the Dolphins. Both teams trying to bounce back from what took place last week. Bernard Pierce is the running back. Stiff arm his way, but had nowhere to go, and you can see that flag come flying.
Boy, the pink flags get your attention, though, don't they? Certainly get mine.
They do, and as we mentioned earlier, it's just a way of the NFL acknowledging breast cancer research participation.
Personal foul, face mask, number 68 offense, half the distance to the goal. Repeat first down.
It's called on A.Q. Shipley, a 2nd-year man from Penn State who has been filling in for Kelechi Osemele, who has been injured since late in the 2nd quarter.
Right there, you just see it. He doesn't let go, and that's the problem. He's got his right hand. He's just locked on there, A.Q. Shipley.
The ball is back at the 10, setting up a 1st and 20. Rice in the backfield to the left of Flacco. Here they come. Oh, the screen nearly picked off. That was dangerous. Deion Jordan, 1st-round pick, rookie from Oregon, had a great shot at it.
Watch Flacco. He never sees him. He's looking to his left, and when he winds back to his right, he doesn't feel Deion Jordan fall off the left tackle, Bryant McKinney. This could have been a disaster for the Ravens. Ooh, man, that was close.
Crowd is into it. 2nd down and 20. Flacco back to his goal line and just did get it off. Rice was the only possible outlet, and it's a loss of 2. Good pressure by the free safety, Chris Clemens.
Well, they're going to bring internal pressure. You're going to see the linebacker, and then Clemens is going to come clean. They can't block them all. Flacco's got to get rid of this. By the time he realizes the safety comes, it's too late. Didn't have tools in their toolbox to account for the Sam Strong safety blitz.
It is a 3rd and 22. Flacco throwing a bloop. That is intercepted. Out of the 10, 5, touchdown for Rashad Jones. On a tip pass, the strong safety, Rashad Jones, able to take it 25 to bring Miami within a point.
Well, he's going to get hit right before he releases this ball. And it comes on the backside. Bryant McKinney gets beat around the edge. Of course, that's an easy one for Rashad Jones. There's Deion Jordan again. He gets his hand on that ball, and Flacco knows it as soon as it leaves his hand.
Deion Jordan with that huge wingspan, and that surprised Flacco. He was able to reach back. Now here's the point after, looking to tie it. Caleb Sturgis has tied the game at 23. 8 minutes, 3 seconds to go in the 4th. Baltimore, Miami tied at 23.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Subway. Try the Tuscan Chicken Melt $6 footlong special today. And by State Farm. It pays to double check. Talk to your agent today.
Eight minutes and change remaining here in the 4th quarter. And the game is all tied up with Miami coming back from a 10-point deficit. What was that?
That's a big mistake there.
Free kick out of bounds, kicking team. By rule of the ball, will be placed at the 40-yard line, first down.
Caleb Sturgis with a terrible kick and upset, as you can see. So that moves the ball up to the 40-yard line. Coming up next, Peyton Manning and those picture-perfect, red-hot Denver Broncos go up against Tony Romo and the Cowboys down in Big D.
It's amazing how quickly Miami's got themselves back in this game. 10 points in 1 minute and 35 seconds to tie this one up.
Ravens start out at the 40-yard line off that poor kickoff. Rice in the backfield. And Rice tried to make the cut, could not. Just a yard on the play. He's covered up by Randy Starks, the defensive tackle.
Well, now the Ravens have to answer. We talked beginning of the game, Marv, about the interceptions last week from Joe Flacco, and after a performance like that, a lot of quarterbacks will be conservative. And I said I didn't think that would be the case today with Joe Flacco, but he's got to shake that one off. That last one, he had nothing to do with it. He couldn't control the fact that the left tackle got beat around the edge.
And Flacco able to complete inside the 45. A beautiful pass to Torrey Smith, making the grab in front of Brent Grimes.
Really play action. This ball comes out really quick before the linebacker can get himself into position. The great thing about Joe Flacco, he's not overly concerned about outside opinions. A great deal of confidence in his abilities and a team around him.
Lard Pierce returning to the backfield, takes the handoff straight ahead. That's a typical Pierce move. Powers his way to the 40-yard line, met by the outside linebacker Philip Wheeler.
I think this
gain of 3.
I'm sorry, Marv. I think this offensive line has come off the ball a lot better in the running game today. I mean, you see him being more physical. You see him finishing. You see him getting up on the second level. I was curious to see how they respond against a very good Miami front seven.
Second down and 7 at the Miami 40. Pierce, stutter step, trying to pick his spot. But he is handcuffed, just 2 on the play. Coming up on 6 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter. The game is tied at 23. You see Justin Tucker getting ready. Third and 6 inside the 40. Good protection. Flacco's pass deflected. It is incomplete. So it brings up 4th down.
And they bring more pressure. And again, another tip ball here. Jared Odrick. Again, in critical times against this defense, you've got to anticipate pressure.
Well, Tucker was getting ready just in case, but this one would be too deep. So the punter, Sam Cook, who has had an erratic day with a 25-yard punter, 26, most unusual for Cook. This time gets the good hang time, and the fair catch is taken by Marcus Thigpen. A good one for Cook. And a flag has been tossed. Flag is down at the 25-yard line. It's 27-yard punt by Cook, but it did the job in terms of net. With Miami at the 12-yard line, the officials discussing the flag.
After the play was over, unnecessary roughness. Number 94 of the kicking team for unnecessarily slamming a player to the ground. That 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. First down.
Not a smart penalty picked up by John Simon, a rookie out of Ohio State, a special teamer.
Yeah, the penalties, 44 of them already for the Ravens this season. They've been a little sloppy, and too many of them coming on special teams.
This afternoon, Ravens hit with 6 for 65 yards. Miami 4 penalties, also for 65. So Miami first down outside the 25-yard line. Ravens and Dolphins tied at 23. Miami has come back from a 10-point deficit. 5:25 remaining in the fourth. Tannehill, nowhere to go. Down he goes. Terrell Suggs with his second sack of the day, number 6 on the season. He is among the leaders in the NFL in that department.
Well, that's the one thing you can't do on first down is take a sack. If it's not there, throw it away. You see your tackle, he's going to get walked right back into you by Terrell Suggs. And Marv, we just talked about situational football, understanding the situation in the game with 5 minutes to go. Anything but a sack or turnover there.
Tannehill on a short set. Oh, broken up. Nice play. A diving deflection by Webb in front of Wallace.
And Mike Wallace has to keep working back to the quarterback. And you're going to see he just watch Tannehill. He throws this ball. Watch Webb. Webb's coming back where Wallace is sitting. And if you're Wallace, you've got to keep working back to the quarterback. We talk about friendly angles out of the break.
3rd and 14.
No, they're all screwed up. You could just tell Gibson wasn't sure, and they've got to burn a timeout.
Well, they would have been penalized on the play clock, but they just do call the timeout. So Miami has 2 left, as does Baltimore.
We've seen that a couple times today. We saw it in the first half. Saw it in the first possession of the game. So talk about how important communication is in times like this, particularly with a young quarterback. You can see Brandon Gibson coming over talking to the receivers coach there. You got to get lined up. You've got to know what your responsibilities are. We've seen some mistakes now from both these receivers. Gibson there, and of course we saw one with Wallace early in the game. Two receivers moving at the same time.
How about the difference in Mike Wallace? First half, 6 catches, 99 yards. It appeared they were certainly on track. Second half, 1 catch, 6 yards. All right, we'd like to welcome those who are joining us from the New England-Cincinnati game as the Bengals knock off the Patriots. Their first loss of the season. Bengals bounce back from a week ago. Tannehill is taken down. 5th time that the Colts have sacked Tannehill, and again it's Terrell Suggs. That's the hat trick. That's his 3rd of the day.
And now he comes from the other side. You know, Terrell Suggs, they're moving him around. We've seen him pick on the right tackle and the left tackle today.
Coming up on 4 minutes to play in this 4th quarter with the game tied. Tandon Doss awaits the kick. He is dangerous to the 35. He has no angle and has to step out. Out near the 40, he was hemmed in by Chris Clemens. A 54-yard punt and a 9-yard return.
Yeah, it really looked like Baltimore was going to run away with this when Ray Rice walks into the end zone untouched, and then the Dolphins come right back, and they get a long field goal from their rookie kicker, Caleb Sturgis. Of course, the big play in the game for the Dolphins. Another rookie, Deion Jordan, he comes off the edge. He's able to get his hand on the ball deflected up in the air. And of course, Rashad Jones walks in for the easy interception. That tied it up at 23.
Marv Albert, Rich Gannon. We're at Sun Life Stadium in Miami on a 90-degree day. It's a 23-23 tie ball game with 4 minutes and 7 seconds remaining. In this 4th quarter, Rice, who has certainly picked things up from what has taken place the last couple of weeks due to that hip flexor injury, picks up 5. So it'll be a 2nd down and 5. The numbers on Flacco: 18 for 31, 255 yards, 1 interception. Ryan Tannehill 20 for 34. He's been sacked 5 times. Ray Rice showing some signs. Again, the handoff to Rice. Finds the hole on the left side and takes advantage. It's a 1st down for Baltimore. Jared Odrick was able to make the stop as Rice goes for 7.
Yeah, he's got such good lateral quickness and balance when he runs, and then what you don't expect is, as a defender, is that power.
Justin Tucker getting the feel as he walks the sideline. He has been Mr. Clutch. Last year as a rookie, hit 30 of 33. 4 field goals of 50 or more. Play action. And Flacco's pass is a leaping catch at the 35. Beautifully done by Torrey Smith. That's good for 14. Smith out leaping the left corner. Brent Grimes, and Torrey Smith has had an excellent game. That's his 6th catch, Rich, for 121 yards.
Yeah, and I love the call. I mean, aggressive call by Jim Caldwell on a 1st down. And again, they sell the play action, and it's really a 2-man route. Torrey Smith does a nice job coming back to the football. Great throw by Joe Flacco outside the pocket.
Clock running with 2:20 remaining in the game. This is Rice trying to pick his way. Getting back to the subject of Justin Tucker, last season he was 14 of 15 in 4th quarters and overtimes. He had 3 game-winning field goals, including that big one against the Broncos. And he is getting ready as we hit the 2-minute warning. The Ravens 23, the Dolphins 23. Back in a moment. Rich, 2 minutes to go. How are the Ravens playing it at this point?
Well, if I'm Joe Flacco, Marv, I'm not going to be satisfied with the field goal in this situation. You want to put your defense back out on the field. I mean, you want to find a way to grind this thing out and come away with a touchdown. Plenty of time.
Oh, Ray Rice doing some good grinding. Nice run, spinning his way to the left. cut down by Philip Wheeler as he picks up 6.
And make Miami use these timeouts. Run the football. Nice job here by Ray Rice bouncing this one to the edge. Look how strong he is with that stiff arm. Now Miami has to use one of their 2 remaining timeouts.
Miami down to 1. Baltimore with 2. A minute and 52 to go in this 4th quarter. Miami able to come back from a 10-point deficit. There's Justin Tucker getting ready just in case. Second-year man out of Texas. We talked about his clutch efficiency as a rookie.
This is a big 3rd down, Marv. If the Ravens can convert here, of course, Miami will have to use that last timeout, but they'll really be able to milk that clock and take it well within a minute. Make it hard for this Miami offense to get the ball back.
Bernard Pierce has come on. And Pierce finds the left side, and he is stopped. Stopped by Randy Starks, the defensive tackle. Try to power his way.
Really nice penetration. Look at Solia. He gets right up inside there, works the center, Gronkowski, right back into the line. Of course, Starks there to make the easy tackle. Good penetration on 3rd down.
And Miami has just used their final timeout with a minute and 47 remaining and a 4th down and 1. And here is Justin Tucker from 44. He's hit 3 for 3 from 42, from 50, from 25. There's the graphic we mentioned a moment ago. 3 career game-winning field goals. As a rookie last season, he's getting the treatment. It is good. Justin Tucker has given the Ravens a 26-23 lead.
And now if you're Ryan Tannehill, you've got plenty of time. A minute 42, no timeouts. There's other ways to stop the clock, and all you need is a field goal. You're going to kind of think your way through this process. You know, big completion down the field. You got to hustle the team down there and clock it. You got to remind these receivers to use the boundary. If they get out of bounds, to stop the clock.
Ravens do have their 2 timeouts remaining, should they need them, if this game ends up being tied, or should the Dolphins take the lead in dramatic fashion. And as we've been mentioning, no timeouts for Miami, and they need a prolific run back here by Marcus Thigpen, who is capable of doing just that.
And that always helps in a 2-minute drill. I mean, a big return, you know, good field position, and of course, he'll love to get a completion on that 1st down. A good completion always gets you started in a 2-minute drill.
Here's the kickoff by Tucker. And he puts it out. So it's a touchback. They bring it out to the 20-yard line. That's the 5th touchback for Tucker.
Well, Sturgis, Marv, you've been talking about this rookie from Florida. He's been terrific. He's not missed all season. I think he's a perfect 2 for 2 from 50 yards. And if you're Ryan Tannehill, you just want to give him a shot. But you got a ways to go.
Yes, he's hit a 54. He's hit a 50. 3 for 3 today. He's 10 for 10, but they are quite some distance from that possibility as they start out at their 20-yard line. Tannehill loads the middle. The pass intended for Wallace.
Boy, he just missed that one. And again, you can't take a sack in this situation. The ball's got to come out. And look at the pressure that the Ravens are getting with the 4-man rush. And that's been the story all day. Tannehill's already been sacked 5 times in this game.
2nd down and 10. A minute 38 remaining in the 4th. He's turned to the right flat, and Wallace with the drop. And that has been a problem right from the start with Mike Wallace, although had that outstanding first half this afternoon.
You see him start in, you wonder why he's not working right back out. I mean, you want to use the boundary, do you not? And you've got a linebacker inside. We talk about being smart in that situation. Clearly, quarterback, receiver not on the same page.
That's the third drop today by Wallace. 3rd down and 10. And this is 4-down territory for Miami. It is dropped again. This time, the intended receiver, the tight end, Charles Clay. It looked like Smith may have gotten a piece of it.
Yeah, Darryl Smith now has made some plays. We saw one a couple of weeks ago, Marv, right at the end of the game where he deflected a ball, got intercepted. Really won him the game against Cleveland. He's had a couple interceptions. He's been a great ad coming over from Jacksonville.
So for the Dolphins, it has come down to this. 4th down and 10 with 1.5 minutes remaining. Tannehill in trouble. Cannot square up, and then fires one big downfield. He is caught. Caught by Brandon Gibson, and the Dolphins are still alive.
Well, that was incredible play and effort by Ryan Tannehill. Looked like he was going to get sacked. He gets outside the pocket. He just heaves one up downfield. Huge play for the Dolphins.
That's good for 46 yards, and they're to the line in a hurry as they clock it.
Wow, what a terrific throw by Ryan Tannehill. Moving to his left, thrown across his body. And he's somehow able to get that one up in the air to Brandon Gibson. What a terrific throw by Tannehill. Great poise under pressure. Boy, now you're right in position now. Now you're thinking with 1 minute left, Marv, he's got opportunities to take a shot at the end zone. Still, can't take a sack in this situation. He's got to be smart. If it's not there on 1st down, 2nd down, throw the ball away.
And as you saw, Sturgis getting ready just in case. Here's Tannehill, and down he goes. That is number 6.
Well, that's a critical sack.
Elvis Dumervil.
Yeah, again, they're just struggling. Look at Dumervil. He just walks Claybo right back into the quarterback.
Dumervil with his 3rd sack of the season, and another drop by the Dolphins, and the 2nd one by Clay.
Boy, that was bad. Now Sturgis has to come in and make one from downtown. Going to be about 57 yards.
Well, no choice here. It's a 4th and 15. Sturgis has hit 3 of 3. This is a 57-yarder. There it is for the tie. And it is blocked. Oh, apparently wide left. It went wide left.
Well, he hit a line drive. Looked like a good snap and a good hold. It just came out a little low, and that thing just went left in a hurry. I don't know if someone got a hand on it or not. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, I thought someone got a piece of it, but kicked it strong, and it went wide left. So the Ravens take over with 33 seconds remaining, and they'll just play it out. And that will do it. Ravens go to 3-2. They turn it from the loss last Sunday in Buffalo. Joe Flacco, 19 of 32, 269 yards. Miami drops to 3-2. They've lost 2 straight. Dolphins have their bye week coming up. Ravens will be back home for Green Bay next week. NFL Today coming up next. Marv Albert along with Rich Gannon saying so long from Miami. Ravens pull it out. They defeat the Dolphins 26-23.